We've got to the end of the second day of questioning of Mark Jenner, the undercover police officer who was Mark Cassidy, was deployed between 1995 and 2000, infiltrating the Colin Roach Centre, as well as Anti-Fascist Action, Red Action, the Independent Working Class Association, the Building Workers Group, numerous individual campaigns for justice and accountability in the police. Just a quick recap. At the end of my last video, I said that I could hear lawyers talking about me behind me. So I've been informed that you might notice if you follow me on X or Twitter, as I still call it, that when there's a breach, I post about that breach immediately. I say, "Oh, the broadcast is now suspended because there's been a breach." This was something which I've been doing since the start, really. I spoke to the previous solicitor to the inquiry, who told me that was absolutely fine, and in fact that was helpful because it was informing people why the broadcast was suspended. I've been told now that is considered a problem and that I can't do that. If I continue to do that, then again I will be removed. The whole rigmarole that I went through earlier on today. So I've been in trouble again. It's quite impressive. Anyway, enough of that. I'm joined with Donald Driscoll from the Undercover Research Group. So this last session was, it started off, there was a bit more of the going through his reports, mostly in a linear fashion, but then some specific ones about Brian Higgins. But then we got to the deceptive relationship with Alison. What did you make of what Mark Jenner had to say?
I'm still picking my jaw off the floor. It's outrageous. The guy has no soul. He has no soul. And it's only really been about half an hour of today, but it's today.
I feel that.
Everybody just stopped and went, "Are we seriously hearing this?" You might hear on the live transcript, on the live video, Mitting has to interrupt to say, quiet at the back there. People are reacting so strongly to what we're hearing.
And I mean, the thing he was telling us to be quiet about, it wasn't people shouting anything out, it was gasps. I mean, people were quite shocked by what we heard from Mark Jenner. The level of just lack of morality, essentially. I mean, he said that he was very. It was said, there were so many things. I mean, one that really stuck out to me was he said, "Did you stay in a relationship with Alison because of the personal and professional advantages it gave you?" He said, "I don't know what the personal ones were meant to be."
Yeah, it was just like he actually used the word exploitation at one point.
He did.
I was just like, okay, there you go. There's the word of the day. This is what you're doing. It was pure exploitation. Yeah, everything was done this cold, calculated. Well, I needed this. I needed that. I'm going to cast aspirations on her. He's making up stories about how she put on a party simply for the sole reason of getting him into bed. That sort of level. It's like, she's going like, she in her evidence, she invited him in, they ended up sleeping together. No, she put on a party. She was seeing somebody else. Yeah. She wasn't into monogamy, or he was downplaying the whole monogamy discussion, saying it didn't really happen. She never used that word. But there was this party, and then everybody left, and he was left there. But we were just like, is this your attempt at making us feel pity for you? What is this?
I mean, it was just horrendous. I mean, the way that he took issue with some of the most minor things. His claim that she'd thrown a party, but it was really just to get me around there. Then her friends beat a tactical withdrawal, and she came on to him, and he was offered sex, and he took it up because he was pretending to be a single bloke, and it was he had to really.
I'm Mark Cassidy, and he's a single man. I was being Mark Cassidy, and I'm a single man, and that's his defense. And we've seen this with other undercovers, but it's still, it's just like other undercovers, they had a relationship and then they went away. He stayed with her for 5 years. That's the context of everything he said. That this wasn't, not that the casual things are in any way excusable, but the bigger context here is that he moved into her flat because it was convenient and helpful for him. And he stayed with her the next 5 years. And he also had this line of, I was in a loving relationship with my wife.
Yeah,
you sick lying bastard.
Yeah, I mean, he waxed quite lyrical about how perfect Alison's flat was for him, about how it was. He had a phone. It was well positioned. It was obviously nice. It was a nice flat. He was happy there. It was pointed out that he didn't need to be there for this phone and for the way it was connected or anything. He could have just stayed in his bedsit more often. To which he said, well, I didn't want to. Well, why would I want to do that? He said, well, to avoid a deceptive sexual relationship. He said, I had no interest in avoiding a deceptive sexual relationship.
He had no fucks to give. He was simply, this is what it is. I don't care what you think about me. Another, so I actually think he's sociopathic. He does not care, and he doesn't have the intelligence to care. I don't think he's a very bright man. I'm going to be rude about him in that way. He's just like, yeah, I did this. I don't care. I don't care what he did to Alison. And I think that's what's so gut-wrenching. Others, try to deny it or downplay it, or at least on some subtle level try to recognize that what they did was just morally wrong. He does not care.
I mean, there was one particular line which really stuck out to me as well. He said that he deceived Alison about who he really was. He said that she probably wouldn't have wanted to sleep with him if she'd known he was an undercover police officer. Only probably. But he said that, he was deceiving her about who he really was. He was deceiving her about his marital status. And he said, well, I'm in the business of deception. Which, I mean, as he was saying that under oath at a public inquiry, I mean, he didn't seem to see how he was undermining all his own evidence.
This one he doesn't come across. But actually, you look at most of his evidence is going to the pub with Mark Metcalf and a couple of other people from Red Action. Well, not the Mark Metcalf was from Red Action, but this is, and literally drunken conversations in the pub. He's writing down his facts, and multiple times Bob come back to him. It's just like, this is just exaggeration. Yeah, it's pub talk.
Yeah,
but his entire career he's not a deep swimmer. He's literally just reporting pub gossip. Yeah, he was never there.
And I mean, in fact, when that's brought up to him, he just goes, well, that's Mark Metcalf's fault. He shouldn't exaggerate it so much to me. Then I wouldn't have put it down as fact in these reports. I mean, that essentially is his defense.
He's saying it's intelligent. It's not intelligence.
Really not.
But this is where he comes off as not a particularly bright or really understanding officer. And there is this impression that he's a deep swimmer, as he's really come out. He's not a deep swimmer. He's just somebody who doesn't care, and it says more about an awful lot about the police around him. That he was, clearly a relatively popular bloke within the Special Demonstration Squad. Good friends with Lambert. And all the way through, especially the bit with Alison, it's just like, you're a classic copper. This is why people hate you, because you have this mentality, and it's sickening. And anybody watching it is going to be sickened.
It is. I mean, it is so gross. He's doing himself no favors whatsoever. In a way, I mean, there's a certain honesty to it. But I mean, one of the things that I mean is deeply dishonest is the way that he says that. Oh yeah, he spoke to other SDS officers before he moved in with Alison, and he says that he told them he was living with activists, and everybody knew this was a euphemism of having sex with activists because they never openly discussed sex with activists within the SDS. It was known about, but it never openly discussed. And he said they never told his managers directly, but they must have known, but there was never openly discussed. We finished with being shown this drawing of Alison's flat that numbered each of the rooms as 1, 2, 3, not living room, dining room, bedroom, or anything, and wrote down that the kitchen was a communal kitchen. And it was pointed out by Barr that this was an attempt to mislead, to suggest that this flat was in fact a series of bedsits. And he was like, "Oh no, not at all. That was the map of the flat." He said, "Well, were you looking to deceive your managers by giving them this map?" He said, "Oh no, I didn't write the map." He said, "Well, so were your managers deceiving more senior officers about the reality of your deceptive sexual relationship with Alison?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, but he's also got a party line. He's really, really
very much.
And you saw earlier when he was giving evidence about Peter Francis, it's just like, oh yeah, Peter Francis was this. It's just like, where's that suddenly come from? It's like they've clearly come up with their story, and if they just stick to that story, they're going to get through it. Police don't like to give interviews, but as long as they do that, and he doesn't have the wherewithal to see. He's throwing Lambert under the bus. He's throwing himself under the bus. And in the same time, he's just making himself look like a gross misogynistic.
I mean, he couldn't do worse public relations for himself if he tried. So much of what he said there was just shocking. I mean, there were so many things. Oh my God, the hepatitis! There's so many things. So Alison's evidence is that when they initially started having a relationship, they used condoms. She was on the pill, and then he said to her that he was that he'd had HIV testing and screening, and that he didn't have HIV. And she said, "Okay, we can stop using condoms then." And he said that no, he didn't say that to her because he never had been tested for HIV, but he had some injections for hepatitis B. So he looked after his own health, and he was concerned about his own health. He he was looking out for himself. The exact phrase was, "I was looking out for myself," which
all the way to exploitation, just the sheer lack of. And you can see from both of us, we're both actually just like, we think you've heard everything in the inquiry. We both know Alison. She's a great person. And it's just like, the noise was just literally people being devastatingly shocked. It's like, I'm sorry, the Metropolitan Police need to ask questions why he ever became a police officer in the first place.
See, we've heard so many different versions from undercover officers. We heard from Bob Lambert, who said, I've been a bad man. I shouldn't have deceived these women. We've heard from Andy Coles, well, that never happened. Deny, deny, deny. We've heard from James Thompson, who goes like, well, I just had, I was really, really attracted to her. And, but we've never had an undercover officer who is this blatant. Like he said, he was asked, was he attracted to Alison? And he goes, well, I mean, she was an attractive woman. Which
he couldn't even say that. It's like I had to think about it. It was just like me talking. It was like, it's like, are you that cold-hearted?
I mean,
like, he knew Alison is in the room. It's like, what sort of person is this? It's like, is it stepping across from just being a sociopath to being a sadist? Because this is disturbing.
I mean, he said that it wasn't a problem that he deceived her about the fact that he hadn't had HIV screening, because he knew that he didn't have any sexual diseases, because he'd been faithful to his wife for years at that point, which didn't suggest that he'd always been faithful to his wife. It was a very chosen collection of words.
And having seen S give evidence, and she comes across really well.
So lovely.
Lovely. It's just like, I'm sorry, but you're just doubling down on what a bastard you are.
Yeah, I mean, like very much. I mean, it was just, there are so many things. I know we're forgetting horrific clangers that he came out with.
The racism.
Oh my God, the racism. Jesus.
Really angry about McPherson.
Incredibly angry about McPherson. Yeah.
How dare he say that the Metropolitan Police are institutionally racist? That puts down all those good cops. And he's not a racist. Kenny reporting shows that you are.
Very much. Jesus. He claimed that he'd spilt blood in the cause of anti-racism.
For the Met.
Yeah,
it's just like,
Jesus.
Yeah, really. I'm
Whatever.
sorry if you're not the.
Just come on, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, as we say, the majority of the questioning of today was about other matters. It was going through all of his reports, and it was only, I think, about at 4:25 that we actually got onto Alison. And the hearings finished just after 4. So it was like just over half an hour of questions about Alison. But like that has completely dominated.
And there's going to be more of this tomorrow.
Much more of it. Much more to come. I thought Barr left it on a really strong cliffhanger.
Yes, it was just like, if you can get time off, or just go back and watch the video on YouTube, it's worth. Have a sick bag with you, but it's worth it. Yeah,
there were no breaches throughout that whole period of the questions about Alison, so you can watch some of that without any worry. There was a breach earlier in the day, which led to me getting in trouble again. I'm getting the impression now that anytime anything happens through the breach, even if I don't do anything, I'm probably going to get into trouble, but we'll see how that pans out. There's been a comment. Campaign opposing police surveillance. Is everyone saying there's a breach in trouble, or just you? At the moment, it just seems to be me. No one. In fact, when the solicitor for the inquiry came into the RLR room, which we're currently sat in now, and tried to speak to me, I was doing a live video, so she ended up speaking to some of the lawyers. And one of the lawyers pointed out that they inform the other lawyers that there's been a breach, which the inquiry is fully aware that she does. So is that a breach? And, that's a breach as well. And it became very clear to the solicitor of the inquiry that she was talking absolute fucking nonsense. I think she's going to go to reflect on it. I don't know whether she's going to realize that she's being overzealous in the extreme. I feel like she's being vexatious towards me personally, but enough of that. I get the impression further guidance is needed. I would say the solicitor to the inquiry previously, a different person, I'm not going to name any of these people, has been much more collaborative. I've never had a problem before. I've never been told off by the previous solicitor of the inquiry. There's never been a problem. We've sorted out very quickly. There's never been an issue. That's been a big change during the last few sets of hearings. Anything else you'd like to add about today's evidence?
No.
What a bastard! What a bastard! Yeah. Jenna continues to astound. Massive solidarity with Alison. I'm sat next to her, as I always am in the hearings. Every time I turn and look at her, her mouth's wide open. It's been shocking, and we often fail to be shocked because we're so used to all this stuff. But some of the things he's come out with today have been another level, shall we say?
Yes.
All right, I'll be doing a Twitter Spaces this evening at some point. Tomorrow is another day of questioning. It looks like it will be the last day tomorrow. It looks like there won't be a hearing on Thursday. So if you do want to come down and witness Mark Jenner's obscenities, then you've got one last chance. Come down tomorrow. Then we have a break until February. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Bye for now.